you have to teach him how to lead, will you ever respect him as your leader? So I see a lot of women try that route of making him into a man and teaching him, but even if he accomplishes a certain level, in your mind, I made you. Your success is due to me, so you are nothing without me, and you don't view him as that man who can stand on his own 2 feet. You became his crutch. So you gotta be careful with who you try to teach or who you engage with. Let that man figure himself out on his own. He has to learn how to stand on his own 2 feet, then he can come together with you.
It's the dumbest shit I ever heard in my life. What? Yeah, let him go and make mistakes, even though you see that clearly if you stepped in, you could help him avoid those mistakes, because you aren't going to look at him as a leader because you helped. That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. I'm sorry, my bad. Why is he? Who is that? I like today's conversation, but I've never seen him on there before.
I haven't either.
That's crazy. No, I think if you actually want a successful relationship and you want your man to be a leader, you need to make sure it's clear what you need to be led on. Not everybody needs to be led on everything. I don't need to wake you up in the morning. I don't need to tell you to go to work. I don't need to tell you to eat. Well, I do, but you know what I mean? I don't need to tell you, how to be led every single day of your life. Like, that's crazy. So I think that if we're both building towards something and you know that we want a house. So if you know that I want a house, then whatever advice you're giving me or whatever you see me doing, if it's not growing towards that, accomplishing that goal, you need to step in and say, yo, is this going to help us get a house? Do you really need to do this right now? Like, that's what helps us get to our goals. And then, yeah, when we get there, I'm like, yeah, I couldn't have done it without you. That's the point of us being together, is I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this by myself. If I do it by myself, I have no use for you. So, yeah, no, that's crazy advice. I mean, that leads literally to divorce, because it's like, if you just sat at home all day and I was out working, grinding my ass off, getting us to where we had to be, when I got there, I would be like, what use do I have for you if you didn't sit up with me and try to help me figure it out? If you asleep while I'm sitting on, staring up at the ceiling trying to figure out my next move. Like, that's crazy. That's horrible.
I guess the excuse then would be for sex. A warm body. That could be why.
Yeah,
that could be why. But a lot of relationships we see nowadays, like, at least the ones that are like promoted or like very prim and like how to get a rich whatever partner, whatever, how to move with money and dating and all that. Right. Like, you see a lot of, I want the other person to be fully baked, like done, out of the oven, perfectly cooked, already cooled. All I gotta do is pick them up and eat them. Like, that's literally the type of relationship people tend to want. They don't want the struggle. They don't want the slow start. They don't want the, there's holes, not holes. Their flashlight needs another light bulb because they're, kind of stumbling in the dark.
I agree with that. Like, when we met each other, we were both complete.
Oh.
We didn't know that we wanted to grow with each other. That wasn't the plan. We were both who we were when we met. There was no, I need to get this in my life, I need to get that in my life.
I thought so.
For a single man, for me, I was doing phenomenal. So, like, I was already good. I just wanted a wife. And then once we established that we were going to be together, I wanted to grow into something more and, now make sure our kids don't have to worry about the same things that we had to worry about. So I think that's what you should look for. You should look for somebody that's going to come into your life and not be a headache or be a burden or cause you problems. The flip side is you have to be that for that person as well. So you also can't be needy. You can't be clingy. You can't be jealous. You can't be obsessive. You have to be that person's peace. And I think some people don't have peace in their lives, so they don't know what peace is like. And sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Apologies. Because I know it's like you gotta work, you gotta build. Like, obviously we had a lot of work that we had to do, but it wasn't the work that we had to do wasn't antagonistic against each other. I wasn't telling you, you got to change and you got to do this, and you weren't telling me I got to change and I got to do that. It was, who are we as people and what are we trying to accomplish in this lifetime? If this is what we really want to do, then why are we distracting ourselves with this kind of nonsense? We both need to build, be better, and care about where we're trying to go and what we're trying to do. And I think a lot of people aren't committed to that kind of radical thinking with a partner. You know, maybe you haven't seen it or something like that.
They want the comfort. They want the not immediate comfort, but they want to know, at least on paper, you know, if we do get together, I'm comfortable. Like, I'm not having to worry about baby mama. I'm not having to worry about you still looking for a job. I don't have to worry about, oh, you can't make it to our date because your car getting messed up. Like, those are certain things and certain inconveniences that a lot of people aren't even willing to deal with. And that's not even major stuff. It's not a sickness. It's not a death. It's not a eviction. It's not a, you know, being laid off. It's not a major life recourse or, you know, redirect. It's just little inconvenient stuff. But for them, it's like, that's like, absolutely no. I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with, you know, you possibly needing me to give you $10 for gas to go to work. Like, even though you are in school and you are trying to do this or you want it better for yourself or for us and you are working toward that, I don't even want to give you gas money to go out and do those things. You know, I want you already done. So unfortunately, that's just, and I didn't buy into that single, but I definitely wanted, funny enough, I wanted myself to have everything together. I didn't really put the whole, yeah, my partner needs to have their own place, their own car. I didn't even think about that. I was more like, I need to have my own place. I need to be solid in my job. I need, you know, to whatever. That's what I thought I needed to find my person or to begin finding my person. And of course, I was leaving my apartment and then moved back in with my parents during that transitional time when I met you. And I was hating my job and completely burnt out and on my last wit's end with that too. And, you know, so those very things that I thought I needed to find my person or to begin, you showed up when I was losing those things.
Right. But as you said that, even though you went through all of that, I still didn't see it as a burden. I didn't see
True.
You not wanting to work at that particular company or you not wanting to live at that particular apartment as a problem that I had to solve. That was something that you came in and was like, well, this is my situation, but this is my plan. And I was like, oh, okay, that sounds like a good plan. So, like, when people say, oh, you shouldn't, I feel like, and maybe it's just because of you, but I just feel like if you don't meet someone who instantly makes your life easier, it's not worth it. Like, I'm not going to struggle with you or trying to plan a fucking date. Like, I'm not going to struggle with you trying to see you after work. I'm not going to struggle with you trying to FaceTime you or have a conversation after we got off an app. Like, I don't want to do that. That's not my intention. That's not my goal. At the same time, my goal wasn't to find a wife when we met. Like, my goal wasn't to be forever. My goal was just to hang out, have fun, and hopefully you cool with me drinking.
I'm trying to catch me ahead.
So I went into our situation casually. I didn't go into it thinking that you gotta check this box off, that box off, and do all that. You just happened to explain yourself in a way that I felt like you would improve my life exponentially. And, you know, I signed on the dotted line. I was like, hell yeah. So, I'm sorry, going back to the original statement. You can do that if you want to. if you don't help your man get to where he's going, he will leave you when he gets there. Because any girl can cook, any girl can have sex, any girl can spend his money. Anyone. So I feel like if you helped him and then he goes ahead and, you know, completely turns on you, then at least you know you did right by him. And if you do right by him, that means you did right by God. And maybe that's some journey he got to go travel down and lose it all because he realized that it was you that actually motivated him to even get there in the first place while you're off, you know, an island with, you know, whatever, how still I got a groove back doing that kind of shit. I don't know. Point being, help your man get to where he got to go and he will make sure you're
if
right.
You truly believe him. Yeah. If you truly believe in your partner and they also have that not even ambition seems like such a full word, but lack of a better word, ambition in them already. Because I've been in relationships where it's like after leaving, I realized I was an enabler, because even though they said and vocalized like, I want to do this, I want to do that, and I'm like, okay, let's do that, and I'm like forcing them to write a script, I'm forcing them to post something, I'm forcing them, essentially like to do stuff that they claimed they wanted to do to get to where they wanted to go, but they had no energy for it. They had no effort. And here I am holding and having all the effort to the point where it became a pattern where it's like, if I didn't lift them up, they weren't going to do anything. And that spilled over into other aspects of the relationship too, not just career or job or money, but it was like self-worth and like all this other stuff too. So it ended up just being an exhausting relationship where I got absolutely nothing, depleted myself trying to help someone who I saw reaching those dreams and goals that they had, but they didn't. I didn't acknowledge that they didn't. And they just kind of were like, dummies on a lap, with like a ventriloquist act almost. Once I leave, they're not going to stand up and walk and do the whole show. Yeah, they need me. And it just.
Yeah, but that's not your fault. Like, you still enable me, or you're still enabler of my habits. Like, I just have very, very, very broad and ambitious habits. So there was nothing wrong with you enabling your partner to follow their own dreams. The problem was that person who had that dream wasn't actually committed to it.
Mm.
So if they're not committed to what they're telling you, then that means they're not even committed to themselves. And that's an issue that they got to personally handle. So, no, keep being an enabler. I appreciate you.
Positive enabler. It's cheerleader. I'll take cheerleader, supporter.
Well, thank you. Please keep being that, because when you help me lead, I won't leave you, because you were there.
Yeah, so once you are like fully in that, lead position, and I'm like so hands off. I'm in the back seat. I'm in the trunk.
Okay.
When it gets to that point,
okay. Well, anyway,
I won't, just to reflect to what he was saying in the video, I'm not gonna sit back and be like, I made you. Like, no, like I wanted to see the best for you. I wanted to see the best for me. I wanted to see the best for us.
We made each other.
So, yeah, it's never gonna be this self-centered look back and be like, yes, it was all me. Or throw in your face and it was all me. Like, remember when, start listing off stuff. Like, if that's the type of person that that partner is to you or whatever, they're not for you. They don't really want to see you succeed. That, in my opinion.
Yeah.
If they really want that callback or that recognition or, obviously, yeah, if you get an acceptance speech, make sure to mention them. They actually did, they were there for you for something. But if the whole reason they're motivated to do anything is so they can come back and say, there's strings attached. And when those conditions are attached, the intention wasn't good to begin with or pure to begin with. So I don't think you need to be a perfectly baked cookie before you find your mate.
Before you find a eater. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay.
She said cake. Anyway.
A cookie?
Oh, cookie. Oh, anyway.
Sorry.
Cool.